Hello everybody, this is the Retro Bear speaking to you, and this is episode 23 of the tNb Gaming Podcast. How wonderful to have you back with us once again, wherever you may be, whatever you're doing. You may be at work having your lunch, you may be at work when you should be working, and you may be on the bus if you're allowed to travel in public transport anymore, and you may be sitting at home enjoying the company of yourself listening to this entertaining barrage of words thrown into sentences by people who have got nothing else better to do but talk about games. Thanks very much indeed for tuning in, and it's a pleasure to have you with us once more. Tonight for episode 23 I'm joined by three of my fellow tNb cohorts. You'll recognise them all from previous visits, some more recent than others, but it's great to have everybody here available. Unfortunately tonight we can't have Nath Retro 1 and Pete Fighter 2 with us, but hopefully they'll be back with us in future episode. In the meantime, just introduce everybody as they're here. First of all, it's a warm welcome back to Sean at Retro Games Revived. Hello, Sean.
Hello, mate.
How are you?
Good to be back. Yes, I'm good, mate. Thank you.
It's good to have you back as well. It has been a while.
It has been a while. Was it three weeks or 3 episodes?
Because we switched the bi-weekly episodes.
Yeah,
now, so it's probably been. Yeah, it's bad. I can't remember. I was going to sort of embarrass you by telling you which episode you last appeared on, but I thought it'd be best not to do that. So we're just happy to have you here anyway. But,
Cheers.
also, it's a warm welcome back. Again, I think it's been a couple of episodes since. So he's been on to Eddie at Rollercore. Hi, Eddie.
Hello. How's everyone?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Well, I'm losing my voice again. But apart from that, I'm all right. Yeah.
Doing all right. That's good to hear, mate. Nice to have you back on again.
Cheers.
And also back with us again is the man with the most famous arms on YouTube, and it's Rob at Gernaldinho Plays. Rob, hi.
Hello, Mr. Bear.
How are you?
I'm all right.
You should be asleep at the moment, shouldn't you?
I should be asleep, so I can't. So I'm here.
Just someone else, too excited to miss an episode of doing this. That's what it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've only got to be out for work in 6 hours. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine, yeah. So Rob should be asleep. Eddie's just woken up.
Yeah, we're on opposites at the moment, aren't we?
And I've got no idea where me and Sean are with all this. I don't know. I mean, given the time we're recording, it's probably close to bedtime, isn't it, Sean?
Yes.
If you are new to the tNb Gaming Podcast, what we try and do each week is give you a subject which we talk about. Just the guys chewing some fat and tossing some ideas around and sharing some experiences with gaming. We get to that sort of later on. We talk about something else which is a bit more current, and we always kick off the podcast with what we've been playing. I usually say it used to be every week, but of course now we're doing everything bi-week. Then of course people come on if they're missing a couple of episodes. I'll try and say what you played since we last spoke to you. And of course, in some people's cases, that could be weeks ago. So really, just sort of summarise anything we've been playing recently and to sort of throw him in the hot seat. I'll ask Eddie first of all to say what he's been doing.
Well, yeah, it's been a few episodes, I think, since I've been on. So I've got quite a shopping list of games. I actually had a weekend of just playing games last week, so I kind of
How is that possible?
Well, exactly. It's the first time I've done it for ages, and I kind of mopped up quite a few games, really. Just did quite a few completions. One in particular, well, I didn't complete it. I started it at the weekend, was Iron Fury. So that's spelled I-O-N, and absolutely fantastic game. Absolutely loving it.
It sounds like a shooter, is it?
Yes, so basically it's a cyberpunk first-person shooter game made last year, but what makes it unique is it's by the creators of Duke Nukem, so it's 3D Realms, and I think they use the same engine as Duke Nukem 3D, just like tied up a little bit to make it a little bit more modern, but still like has the sprites that are kind of like flat, so all your enemies, they're not like 3D models or anything like that. If you walk around them, they'll just stare at you the same way no matter what.
Oh, right.
if you know what I mean. So it's just basically a love letter to all the DOS shooters back in the day, like the likes of Doom, Duke Nukem and Blood and stuff like that.
Yeah, sounds an interesting concept, that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a very different way to play games because the enemies that you're fighting against, they've not got like the same AI or anything like that. It's basically, probably a lot of people would hate it now, but there's a lot of basically cheap enemy placement. But that in itself kind of adds to like the suspense and like kind of like you instead of just running through the levels, you have to like really like slowly plod along, and then you start realizing how it's been designed, where you think it was cheap to start with, but then you realize it's just that's the kind of era of gameplay placement that it used to be, because they don't have the AI that they do now. So it was the only way to make it like a bit hard.
So in a way, it's sort of a homage in more than one way to the game it is, but also in a way, it's sort of, as you said, the cheap character and the AI and things like that sort of come into. That's how a lot of games were back then, because of the way the technology was.
Definitely, yeah. So yeah, I'm slowly plodding through it because I'm no good at these kind of games, but I really enjoy them. And as well, not just that, but it's like them kind of games. There's a lot of like hidden areas and stuff like that. So you have to like kind of like click on everything or shoot everything to see if it opens, maybe to get like a secret stash. And when you got to the end of the level, it'll like kind of mock you as well, saying like, you missed. There's 7 secrets on this level. Do you still want to leave? And it's like, oh, I don't know. Actually, I want to go back and look for them.
Nothing worse than a game that thinks it's smarter than you.
Well, all games are like that. Fun School 5 to 10. I think that was the first one that mocked me when I was playing that at 20.
The classic game series of brutal shooters they were, weren't they?
But yeah, absolutely love that game. I'm still, like I said, I'm still playing it now, probably about halfway through. So another game that I didn't manage to complete was Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, which proved altogether impossible to complete.
Yes, I saw you posted that the other night on the chat we were on, and I was quite surprised by that. But why so?
Yeah, so if you don't know what Yooka-Laylee is, basically it's by some of the guys from Rare back in the day, and it's basically sort of like a homage back to like the old Rare Nintendo 64 style games, where it was like kind of a 3D platformer. But then that didn't do very well, the first one, so they did a sequel called Yooka-Laylee and Impossible Lair, and it turned it into sort of like a 2D platformer. So that's a little bit more like sort of Donkey Kong Country style.
Right.
And so the levels in that are quite easy to do. So you have like an overworld where that's quite fun to like go around and try and, again, find more secrets. I think that's a very retro thing to do as well. It's the finding of secrets and stuff like that, which I'm absolutely loving at the moment. Just that's all I do. Just instead of like a game taking an hour, it's taking me 3 hours just looking around for secrets. But yeah, so these secrets, they'll open up like a secondary version of a level as well. So you can like play it the first time and then play it a second time, and it'll be like it'll have done something to that level to make it even harder. Sort of like, so you'd have like a water current running through it all, and it's turned it into an underwater level. But yeah, so what the Impossible Lair is it's the final level, and you have to go through it all and try and beat the boss, which sounds okay, but it's flipping impossible, and it's so long. And what's quite unique about this game is you start off, and that's the first level that you try and do, and it completely beats you. And then what they say is you need to go around to all these other levels, and then you have to pick up a sort of a B, what they call a battalion. And each one of them gives you an extra hit point while you're going through the Impossible Lair. So currently, I've got 30 hit points, and I think it says I'm about 50% of the way through it. And it's like, I think there's only about 10, 15 more hit points for me to find. And I'm like, yeah, this isn't never going to happen for me. Even if I like completely like get every like hit point there is available, I'm not going to be able to do it. It's just so hard. It's just like proper old school platforming.
But sometimes you hit that point with games, don't you? Some people will be able to get past it, but
yeah,
I know I'm one of these people. If I get something that it's just too hard, and no matter what you try and do, you can't get past it. You think, you know what? I'm gonna go and do something else.
Exactly. That's what I got. I mean, what I'll do is I'll probably keep trying to get a couple of more hit points, try it again at a later date. But yeah, just this weekend it just beat me. It really did. It was just too impossible. But yeah, but there is actually achievement to do it with, like, I think 1 hit point, which I would love to see someone do, because that's not happening for me.
If developers are listening to this, they'll be laughing their heads off. Yes.
See,
There's a reason why we called it Impossible Lair.
flipping is impossible.
That's what it says on the tin.
Exactly.
Wasn't it a Kickstarter, that one, if I remember?
I think the original one was, yeah.
Actually, the sequel, is it?
This is the sequel, yeah. So, like I say, first one was more like a 3D platformer, like Banjo-Kazooie. Some of the same developers as them. But then I think it was just a bit average, that game. So they designed it like this, which made the gameplay is so much better on the sequel. It is a good game, but the last level is just impossible. Just like it says on the tin. I should have realised.
Well, now we know. Yeah, we told you so. It's on the front of the tin. There you go.
But you could imagine it like 5 out of 10. Said it was impossible, but I completed it easy. Yeah. They wouldn't be getting the good reviews if it was easy, would it?
Well, that's right. That's right. But then again, sometimes, in previous history, that reviews tend to be bought, don't they? Sometimes. So.
I thought it was a challenge to. Yes, I'm going to beat the impossible Lair. Nope, beat me instead.
So was that the end of your gaming weekend, or did you manage to?
Well, I played quite a lot, to be fair. So we could be here for another hour or so. So I'll leave it to other people for them to talk about, because, like I say, we've got things to do, haven't we?
That's true. That's true. In your case, breakfast, I suppose, isn't it, really? Rob, what have you been playing since, this last week or so, or however far back you can remember since last time we spoke to you?
It's been a while since I've been on. I played the new Battletoads, which was stuck on Game Pass, because it is Xbox exclusive, and all the exclusives go straight to Game Pass.
Damn you.
And that was... it was a lot of fun. It was... what I wasn't expecting it to be like it was as such. It was a lot of different game modes sort of in one. So we go through a level, you got your classic side scroll and beat 'em up, and then all of a sudden you'll get a 2D sort of platforming level, which is a little bit of a puzzler, and then there's quite randomly like a vertical scrolling shmup section, or as you would say, shoot them up.
Yes, shoot.
So, there's other level where you sort of control this panel as well, and you've got to, move levers and do things in the right order with different buttons and thumbsticks on the joypad. Fidget agrees with me. Yeah. And it was a lot of fun with the variations throughout it. So yeah, actually really enjoyed it, and love the art style as well.
Is this an entirely new Battletoads game, or is it one that they sort of redone from an older?
Oh no, entirely new. I mean, using the exact same characters, obviously, but it's a completely brand new game.
Ah, right, okay. I saw something pop up on one of my YouTube sort of recommendations, and I thought it must be a new game or something, and it just sort of didn't register until you just mentioned it now. So
yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. The only disappointing factor that I would say there is about it, and bear in mind, I know there's different game modes, and I suppose some sections you couldn't really do 2-player, but there's only 2-player local and not 2-player online, which just seems to be a baffling decision. I mean, maybe they'll add it later, because they can do that nowadays, and patches and updates and all that sort of crap. So they might add it, but it just seemed to be strange to be missing from the off.
Yeah, it's quite cool that they've done that, to actually put like local couch co-op as the forefront. But I think they've missed the point of what modern world is like nowadays, haven't they?
Yeah, I just don't get it. But apart from that, I've been a bit amateurish and not realised that Guitar Hero guitars work with Rock Band, and having played through all the Guitar Heroes at least once, except for live, because that needs a different guitar. I know that for a fact. Picked up a couple of Rock Band games, played the original Rock Band and Green Day Rock Band, because I like me a bit of Green Day.
Nice.
And as I say, it's pretty much exactly Guitar Hero, but, a different person making it, basically.
I sort of prefer the Rock Band games. I'm probably in the minority, but I don't mind either of them, but I tend to find that some of the track listings on the Rock Band games tend to be a little bit better.
I must admit, on the very first Rock Band game, which I have played, obviously, I thought the track listing on that was stellar. I mean, Guitar Hero's overall in general, I mean, Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock is epic. It is the best one. It has the most awesome track list in all of music games, if you ask me. But yeah, the Rock Band lineup was pretty stellar as well.
Yeah,
But and as I say, I love Green Day, and it's just obviously full of Green Day songs. So yeah, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I just look at the back of the Rock Band game, and I think there's probably one track that sticks out there immediately to me. Give Me Shelter by the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little bit more interested in the more modern stuff, but
I mean, that's one of my favourite records of all time. So
I haven't.
to actually have that
Why
on
is it
Rock
not in
Band.
arm's reach? But yeah, I can see it, I just can't get there. But yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed that. I found it a bit more forgiving than Guitar Hero, funnily enough.
Yes, I think you're right. I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't dislike the Guitar Hero games. I just found Rock Band a bit more agreeable.
Yeah, no, I mean, I enjoy them, but I haven't got the dexterity in my fingers to actually play any higher than medium, and I can do medium on Guitar Hero and get through it, but I struggle because that's me. I'm honest. But on Rock Band, I play through on medium and thought, oh, this is easy. I can do this, and got through it no problem.
Yeah, I'm the same. I couldn't go any higher than medium. Just physically impossible.
It's when it comes into 5 buttons that's like, whoa.
I was gonna, I haven't got 5 fingers. I cannot do this.
I've barely coped with the switch to analog sticks from sort of control, D-pad. So goodness me, I'm going to cope with 5 buttons on a guitar at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I can do it, but it's just like I'll probably get about 70% if I attempt it. But Beth's given me a tip on how to do it for the future. So I need to reinvest some time in it. Actually, I need to play some Rock Band maybe.
Is it the same tip she's given me, where instead of having your index finger on the green button, you have it down the right hand side, and then move up to the green? Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried that on Guitar Hero playing on Expert, and let's just say, because I only had one guitar, I decided not to get frustrated too much.
I think if I played it at any higher than medium, I think my rating would be arthritic.
Yeah. No, I was just like, let's just turn the system off and put this down. It'll be all right. Just go back to medium and lower. You'll be fine.
Find your happy track. That's what you need to do on that game.
Yes.
I'll play that. I'm all right with that. I can do that. There we go.
But it's good for wrist strengthening because it absolutely kills after about half an hour of playing that game. My wrist is absolutely killing me.
Yeah,
Oh dear. Are we going there?
It's years of wear and tear that are just catching up with him. And,
lowered. Yes.
Yeah. I've got a Guitar Hero injury. Yeah, it's all right. Don't worry.
Anyway, swiftly on. I've also been playing Xeno Crisis because that's on Game Pass as well.
Been playing what?
Xeno Crisis.
I've no idea what you're talking about.
It's a Mega Drive game.
Yes.
Sorry.
It's on the Xbox One
game, isn't it? Kind of thing.
Yeah, it is on the Xbox One and part of Game Pass as well, and it's bloody hard, but it's fun. Believe it or not, it's very Smash TV like in the way you progress through levels. But it's bloody hard. But I may or may not have found out how to access a cheat menu so I could finish the game.
Naughty.
Oh, boo.
I could only get to level 3 boss playing legitimately.
What I've heard, that's actually quite good going.
Then I realised it was default set to hard, so I put it on easy and didn't get any further.
Really?
Yep.
Does it as well, like when you change the settings from like hard to like normal, like you changes the blood from red to green or something?
Yeah, it does. I noticed the title screen went, oh, why is it green? Sort of thing.
So when people are streaming it, you can't get away with going, I've got it on hard. No, you haven't. Look at you cheater. So if you put the cheat menus on, does it give you rainbow blood as well?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't do anything. But
glittery rainbow blood.
It doesn't disable the achievements for finishing the levels, but it does disable the achievement for completing the game. So you'll be like, oh, he's played all the levels, but why hasn't he got the achievement for finishing the game on easy? So it does do that.
Dirty cheater. You don't, but if you played it on the Mega Drive, you don't get any achievements. So there is that.
Yeah. I do believe the cheat code is actually inputted everywhere on every version. There's a list of how to access it on everything it's on.
Well, I mean, two things you're taking from that. Firstly, congratulations, be the first person on the podcast to be booed for cheating. but also, secondly, and a more serious point, when you describe that game, it's sort of a bit like Smash TV. And one of the great things I love about all these, sort of newer games that come out, the first thing people say is, "Oh, it's like this," which is an old game from the past.
Yeah.
And
to be fair,
I like that. I like that. Sort of.
It's not a bit like, it's totally like.
Yeah.
It is exactly that.
But you can see where the inspirations come from a game which most people listen to this may never have heard of before, and they've enjoyed playing that one. They may then wish to go and seek out Smash TV, which I think is on some of the compilation PlayStation 2 ones. Was it Midway game, that one?
Oh yeah, it will be.
Yeah. So if you got the old Midway PlayStation 2 original Xbox compilation, you'll probably find it on there. So
or Arcade Club, you've got it actually a proper Smash TV arcade there.
I never played it in the arcade.
Oh,
I only
it's so
played the
much
home
fun.
version. Is it? Yeah.
Because you get instead of buttons, you get two joysticks.
Twin
so it's like a
sticks,
So it's like a proper twin stick shooter, like it should be.
That's me screwed. I can't even work two joysticks and control pad things there.
I've actually never played Smash TV on a console and only played it in the arcades from back in the day.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I have actually got Midway 1 and 2 on the PS2, and it's on one of those, so no excuses now. It's there.
Exactly. Now I've told you, especially. Now we brought it up, it's definitely going to be done.
I'll have to have a go now. First time in over 10 years? Could be.
There we go. Also give you an idea for a new episode of your long-running series. So.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done an episode, so it's due, I reckon. I did say to Eddie the other day I might do Primal Rage, but...
Yeah, I was going to say we've got a few brewing, haven't we?
Yeah. Well, but I think the last one was a beat-em-up, so we might do Smash TV next and then do Primal Rage, so we'll see.
I think Smash TV's on Midway Arcade Treasures 1.
Yeah, so I've got 1 and 2, I'm just missing 3.
So.
Yeah. But apart from that, just a load of indie stuff, and that's as long as my arm, and I'll take up the entire podcast talking about it. But,
but rather than do that, give us a gamer score update. Where are we up to at the moment?
What are we on? 500,000, 3... Oh, Jesus. Can I just say the numbers without working it out like that? 538,180. There we go. 53,000... 538,000, even 180. There we go. Got there in the end. I'm tired, believe it or not. I just can't sleep. But the only thing I will say, actually, indie game, one that I can recommend. It was only out a couple of days ago. I think you pronounce it Takotan or Takotan, whatever. It's another side-scrolling shoot them up, and you play. It's more of a cute. It's more of a cute 'em up because you play as this little octopus, and it's not actually that difficult. It's just a lot of fun. So it's an easy 1000G, only 14 achievements. So get on it if you like your cute 'em ups and games you don't have to cheat on. Games you don't have to cheat on as well, because it's easy.
Yeah, we don't have to boo you again next time you come on, mate.
Can I just say one more thing before we move on? Because you mentioned about my gamer score and that brought up milestones.
Yeah,
I've been out. I bought quite a lot of Xbox 360 games lately, bundles. CX trade-ins. Not only did I buy game 500, but I bought game 550 as well. So I've achieved that milestone since I last spoke to you.
And how far have you got to go?
It's just over 1,200.
You're nearly halfway there, then.
That was the aim by the end of the year, so that's why I've made a real push. But bearing in mind we're getting to the end of the year, so that's why I've made a real push. Game 500 was Transformers Devastation, and to ruin a future pickup, game 550 was Asterix at the Olympic Games. So.
Which is not an easy one to pick up on the 360, is it?
No, it was the first time I saw it come into CX in about 18 months. So I played the roulette, spun the wheel, and won. Lovely MIDI copy, lovely MIDI manual. Brilliant.
Nice.
Thanks for that, Rob. Back to you a bit later. Sean, what have you been doing?
I've been playing COD, as usual.
COD, yeah.
Hey, down your drink, Gears of War. Have another one.
Yeah.
I'll have a sip of me gin. But I've been playing really badly lately. However, it's because people are just getting better at the game, and because I imagine there's not just me that's on it every single night. I reckon. quite a few players on it all the time, and yeah, I don't know. I've just been playing rubbish lately, and in fact, I prefer it now when we're playing like trios and quads. Basically, so the others can carry me. Let them get all the kills, and I'll just stand back.
At least you're honest about it.
Yeah, I am, mate. I might get old kill here and there, but yeah, I'm not an aggressive player. And yeah, I just let the others take out credit and all shooting and killing. I have been playing a couple of games on the Amiga CD32. Beneath a Steel Sky, which
amazing.
is it's a point and click adventure, and it is a really good game. But some of the puzzles are quite tricky. I've not really got that far into it, to be honest, without getting stuck. And we're talking about cheats. Well, I'm afraid I had to Google certain sections of it.
Boo!
Two confessions in one podcast.
Two. Oh dear, mate.
To be fair, anyone who can complete this and that nowadays is just I don't know. IQ of 200. In fact, I don't think you need a good IQ. I think that's the opposite, because you have to do such obtuse things that, like, if you've got a good IQ, that's not going to work, because you're going to do, like, the logical thing, when sometimes it's not logical at all.
I mean, I think the start of it, there's just 3 screens that you can access, and I could not work it out. I had to go on Google, looked it up, and the thing was, it was telling me to do this. If I had to go into this one room, activate a switch, which would bring this caretaker telling you off, and then you had to go into the next room to look in this drawer to find this wrench or something. But every time I was trying it, it kept catching me. It kept coming in and catching me, and I still can't get this wrench. So yeah, I kind of give up on that, and I moved on to a game, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's called Banshee. Is that right?
Oh, it's a shooter, yeah.
Heard of it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the last Amiga games as well, that one. That's quite a good one.
It is a good one, yeah. But like any shooter, it gets really hard. A lot harder than what I can handle. But and I'd also set my chipped Xbox up, because David Birdsell, he gave me a load of this big wallet with backed up games and
backups, yeah,
backups, and there's quite a few of them, and I thought, I'm gonna have a go with some of these Xbox games, but I've got a faulty controller, either a faulty controller or a faulty controller port. It's saying reconnect the controller, and I've took it out, plugged it back in many times, blown it down tube. Oh dear, that's the controller port, and yeah, it's just not making any difference. So, and that is the only Xbox joypad I've got at the moment. So I kind of can't play out, to be honest, on that, which is a shame, because there's some good games on there. There's Medal of Honor, Frontline, and I really fancied playing that. So, but I can't, obviously, due to the dodgy controller or controller port. So, but that is about it, mate. Yeah, mainly COD, every day.
Well, I might have some spare controllers for you if you want, Sean. So,
have you really, mate? Oh, yeah. Fantastic.
So, when I see you, which might be not too long away,
could
bring one over.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Appreciated.
That's a shame, that, because it's a nice little donation there from Dave as well.
It is.
I'm surprised you got them for free, to be honest with you. I thought he'd have charged you the earth for them, but I'm joking. I have to get at least one reference into every episode and have a poke at him now. He's
paid him in eggs.
He loves eggs.
Didn't swap him for any Hit Squad games, did you? after his last video. Right, I'm just a quick sort of fill in as to what I've been playing. A lot of 360 stuff.
Good.
So, Virtua Tennis 2009.
Good.
Purely because I just fancy the game of Virtua Tennis. So I do like that game series. It's the best gaming tennis games ever, as far as I'm
Only
concerned.
game in 10 games.
No, Smash Tennis on the Super Nintendo.
Boo.
Sorry, got to
Smash-
jump in there.
Smash Tennis or Super
Yeah.
Tennis?
Smash Tennis
Smash
by
Tennis.
who is it? Namco.
Yeah, Namco. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never played that one. I played Super. I like Super Tennis, but Virtua Tennis, I can play any version of Virtua Tennis and be very happy with it. But I've not played any of the Smash Court games. I've got a couple somewhere. I think you mentioned that now.
Yeah, there's PlayStation 1 games which are very similar to it.
There's two.
But the PlayStation 2 ones turn it more realistic, so it's not as fun.
I've
But yeah,
got the
But
PlayStation 2 ones, yeah.
but the Super Nintendo one, that's where it's at. You need to play that one.
Ah,
Definitely
right, okay.
play it. It's not even expensive. You can get it for a couple of quid loose.
Well, I've got no excuse now, have I, really?
Exactly.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I've been told. There we go. But Virtua Tennis, it's just really enjoyable fun.
Mini games are fun.
The mini games are really good. But to be honest, I quite enjoy playing the main games as well. So, it's a good all-round good package, that one. There was a racing game I was playing which I just couldn't get on with, and I can't remember. I've mentioned it before in one of my pickup videos, but I don't really remember what it was. Project Gotham Racing 3.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I just can't get on with it. It's a bit tricky for me. Not sure. I don't know. It's not instantly as enjoyable as the other games in the series I found, and
4 is better.
yeah, I agree with that. But I quite like that series, and I was just a bit disappointed with that one. I only picked up 3 because it's the one I was missing out of the 4. Because all 4 games across the Xbox sort of systems, and I had that one to it because I hadn't got it, and I just didn't seem to sit right with me. And then unusually for me, I've been playing some first-person shooters as well. I've been slipping into the role of James Bond.
Okay.
Or not slipping into James
Which
Bond,
one?
just slip. Well, funny you should mention that. Daniel Craig, because I've been playing 2 of the games on the 360, which is Quantum of Solace, which I should play previously on the Wii, and I actually like the Xbox 360 version more. I don't know why, but I did a bit of a playthrough of that. There will probably be a video in the barely played category coming up on that. I had a bit of fun with that. But the other one I was playing as well, which I really wanted to play and hadn't played before, I really wanted to get into, was 007 Legends.
Oh, I thought he was going to say Bloodstone.
No, I've got Bloodstone on the PlayStation 3, but I picked Legends up on the 360 quite cheaply. I've not actually played it until last week. And what it does, I don't know if anybody else has played it at all. Who else played it?
No.
No,
I've
it's
heard
in
of
the
it.
ridiculously huge backlog.
I've not played any 007 games since the Amiga.
Oh, right. well, this one is really good because I haven't got it in front of me, so I can't actually physically remember which films they are. But it basically takes the Daniel Craig James Bond and puts them into some classic adventures like Goldfinger.
Down
And,
by
Alright, yeah.
I think possibly on a Majesty's Secret Service and a couple of others as well. So rather than the James Bond that were associated with those films, he's the James Bond through those, and you sort of go through that. So the first sort of level is Goldfinger. It's really good fun. It really, really is good. And I'm going to sit down and play a bit more of it, even though I'm totally terrible at it. But in this modern era of respawning over and over again, you're going to worry about sort of like losing 2 lives and that's it. You're going to go back to the start. It makes a difference, really. And it's really, really good. I was really, really surprised by it. So I'm going to dig that out again at some point. It's going to be quite difficult. So I put the 360 away now, and I've replaced it with the PlayStation 3.
The 5 films?
Sorry?
I've got the 5 films.
You've got the 5 films going, yeah.
Goldfinger,
Yeah.
Moonraker,
Yeah.
Die Another Day,
Yeah.
License to Kill,
Yeah.
On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
So basically all the shit films then.
I like Moonraker.
The cheapest licenses, probably, isn't it?
yeah. So, Moonraker, nobody even remembers that as a James Bond film.
Got Jaws in it, isn't it?
Yeah,
because obviously it's got some of the famous villains and well-known, so Goldfinger obviously is in it. You got Blofeld, you got Jaws in it. You got the guy, the odd job who throws the bowler at you. You got and some of the famous sort of Bond girls are in it as well. So it's an interesting sort of mix and match of stuff.
Yeah. There is a version where you can unlock missions from Skyfall as well, which is apparently what mine does, but I haven't tested the code yet.
I don't think I got that in mine.
Someone's probably used that. Of course, it's pre-owned my copy.
Oh, well, I always say check them because sometimes they aren't.
Oh, I always do. It's
Yeah.
it's like a mini lottery, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's yeah. Oh, 3 numbers, great. It's a tenner.
Getting an exclusive profile picture.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I unlocked a secret weapon and a special added bonus dance track on the Michael Jackson dancing game.
Nice.
Oh.
Not really. No, I couldn't care less, to be honest with you.
We was being polite.
Is it free? Yes, it works. Great, I'll move on. That's it. It's the only time I'm going to stick that game with a disk drive anyway, probably. That's going to come out of there again. And then I said, unplug the 360 because I've got the PlayStation 3 because I haven't played on that for a bit. And I've rediscovered the... again, I'm not one of these people who sort of harps on about the fact and not keeping physical copies of games, but one of the very few games I actually downloaded was... Pac-Man Championship DX on the PlayStation 3, which I downloaded probably about 10 years ago. And I've therefore since been spent the last week or so trying to beat some of my high scores from 10 years ago. Because without putting too fine a point in it, I did get some very, very good scores, and they were, I wouldn't say they were right at the top of the world leaderboards, but they weren't bad scores at all. They were sort of quite competitive. I can't get anywhere near them. I just cannot. I have sort of sneaked past a couple of them. I mean, there's different sort of courses on it. There's different sort of like a 5-minute trial, time trial, a 10-minute time trial, little challenges to complete on it, and it does keep you coming back. And you can sort of use different styles of layout in terms of the graphics. So you could use sort of the Pac-Mania era. You can go back to the start. And the music, techno music, is brilliant as well. It's a great little package. I'm not sure if it's still available or not, or whether they've updated it since, and I don't know.
Well, you can actually get that on the Xbox Live Arcade compilation disc.
It was actually free during lockdown as well. I think they made it free.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
I know the second one was because I played that one. It's really good game.
Is it the one that's quite neon and you can build a massive line of ghosts behind you?
That's
and
it.
then,
Yeah, it's so much fun.
I played that one. Yeah,
the one that comes on the Xbox Live Arcade disc is the first one. This is the sort of the one that came after that.
Oh, the second one. Yeah, that's the one that I played.
Yeah, I mean it is a fantastic game.
Yeah.
It really is, and I just do with my age or my reactions, but I just struggle a little bit. I sort of get within sort of like 300,000. I'm thinking, if I hadn't done that before or gone the wrong way on that one, and of course it's not so much. There was a strategy to it. As long as you keep following the correct routes and go the right way and build up the chain of ghosts following you around to build the bonuses, you'll get a big score off it. But one little slip up and you think, well, that's that gone. I'm not going to get anywhere near it. So very challenging.
Well, I did is it campaign or story mode, whatever it is, where there's an end to it. And now I did that, and I was having fun all the way through, having to restart every so often. Then it got to the last stage, and I was like, "This is impossible." I just couldn't do it. And I looked on the achievement list, and I think it was 0.7% of people have actually completed it.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, no wonder I'm having difficulty then.
Gonna have to find this.
Not even 1% of people can do it.
I must connect my PlayStation 3 back to the internet because it'll give you the high score tables and stuff where you are. But I mean, I don't sort of profess to be particularly good at games, but this one I put a lot of time into 10 years ago, and I got some really good scores off it. And I've sort of sitting there thinking, how did I get that score all those years ago? How did I manage to get a score that high? I ain't got close. I've been playing it for an hour now. I ain't got anywhere near it. It's tremendously good fun if you can get hold of a copy of it. And I've probably the thing is because I can't record that on my PlayStation 3. But I try and sort my splitter out. I bought a splitter for it, but it didn't read it properly, so I'm going to play around with that because I want to do some videos of me playing those courses again and trying to beat those scores, which I think would be quite interesting to do.
Definitely, yeah, I'd love to see that because, like you say, it's the music, the visuals, everything is just so cool about it.
That's it. I mean, worse than worse, I can always stick the camera in front of the television now. I know how to do all the zoom and stuff on it, so I can always do it that way.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to have the footage recorded in grainy standard definition, relying on the webcam to produce the sound. Yes, it's that sort of stuff.
Well, right. If I could just muscle in quickly about Pac-Man.
Muscle in?
Talking about like games we've played and everything like that, actually, I have been playing a Pac-Man game. Since I've last been on, I've actually been to Arcade Club twice, and there's been a Pac-Man game on at both Leeds and Bury.
Right.
And it's called Pac-Man Battle Royale. And it's a 4-player Pac-Man where you actually you're all playing at the same time and you actually kind of fight each other. So you're fighting to get the power pellets before the other and then try and eat the other person.
That's fantastic. What a great idea.
And honestly, it's been my favourite game each time I've been to Arcade Club. And it just made me think in the world of Battle Royale, because this was 10 years ago, this game came out.
Wow, I
it's
never
quite
heard of
old.
it.
I haven't even until I saw it. But I was thinking, in the world of battle royales that we've got going on at the moment, can you imagine an 80-person Pac-Man where you're all like fighting each other? Like, oh my goodness! That's all I kept thinking. Namco are missing a trick here because everyone who played this Pac-Man absolutely fell in love with it, and it turned into their favourite game.
How did I miss it? You never showed me.
No, I miss it. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I like Pac-Man because the one I've been playing was released in time for Pac-Man's 30th anniversary, which was 2010. So this battle royale must have been.
I think it was 2009. It said on it.
More than I'd never even heard of that version. Wow.
I mean, it's an arcade one, isn't it? So that's the thing. So I suppose unless you've been to the arcade, you wouldn't have seen it. Oh, 2011 it was.
Okay.
So just after then.
But even so, you'd hear about something like that, or somebody would have tried to put a network edition out or something like that, so you can sort of play it on Xbox Live.
That would be perfect right now, I think.
Yeah, if you things like Fall Guys and now that's totally taken off, you could do exactly the same sort of thing with that. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, they've been doing like 99-player Tetris, and now they're doing like a sort of a Mario battle royale. So the market's ready for some like retro battle royales, I think.
Yeah. You might have stumbled across something then.
Yeah, I'm gonna send some letters to Namco. Let's all do it. Everyone who's listening, just send a letter to Namco. Not an email, actually a handwritten letter.
Well, if you get it done now before we release this on Sunday, then you'll have head start of everybody else, won't you? So by the time everybody's listening to this on Sunday, we're going, that's a good idea, and then you've already done it. So. Anyway, Back to the Future timeline slips and all that aside. Let's move on from that. So that's what we've been playing this week. I'll tell you what you've been playing this week. Have you got any ideas of what we've been playing? If you can try and help Eddie complete that game that you can't do. And if you want to boo Rob for being a cheat, then feel free to do so in the comments. And sure. Well, yeah, technically so, yeah.
Taking you down with me.
Obviously, the big news this week, we're not going to touch on it because everybody's talking about this week. It's the big news about the PlayStation 5. And we had a quick chat about this before we came on. We thought everybody's talking about this. So we're just going to have a very, very quick, brief discussion about it. I'll just go around everybody. Just jump in. Is this something we're particularly interested in, chaps? Is it something you're going to go and do? Or are you looking at the Xbox as the alternative?
I'm an Xbox guy, and I say,
Rob,
you know me.
Yeah.
In a couple of years' time, if it's cheap, I might. That's about it, really. Sorry.
Eddie?
I mean, of course I'm interested in it. I love watching about this stuff. But realistically, am I going to pick it up? Absolutely not. Not for the next few years, or at least anyway. I've got a backlog of so much of PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4 games now. What's the point of getting another one to just make another backlog with?
Jordan?
Yeah, I'm hoping to get one. Joe's been trying to.
That's my line.
Joe, bless us, has been trying to get us one each pre-ordered, but no joy, as you can imagine. They're just selling out straight away.
You've got more chance of getting a COVID test than you have of getting the PlayStation 5 at the moment.
Well, I mean, it's no big deal, you know. It's not like we're panicking or anything because we can't pre-order. We will get one, you know, at some point.
I'm sure they'll make some more. There might be a demand for it, you know.
Yeah.
No, this is it. Yeah. Once the first batch is gone, that's it. Limited run. There was limited run games before. Now it's limited run consoles.
You joke apart. What it was the NES Mini, wasn't it? You know that was an
yeah.
PC Engine Mini.
Yeah.
So you're going to be getting one then?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be getting one. I mean, obviously, I'm the opposite to Rob. I'm all PlayStation. You know, I've got to get one, and I've got eye on all others, so why not? I mean, I know that when it's first released, the games are not going to be, how can I put it, like groundbreaking. I think a lot of people are saying that the graphics aren't going to be much different to PS4, really. As with any console, it takes time for developers to learn new tricks and what have you. But yeah, I'm excited by it. I do love the look of it. And yeah, I really do want one, obviously, to add to the collection and play the next generation of God.
Hey!
Yeah.
Which they actually showed off in their showcase, didn't
Yeah.
they? The Cold War
they
game.
did, yeah. So,
I mean, they do look good. They do look good. I mean, the thing is, what you're saying about like the advancements and stuff like that. The thing is, all I can keep thinking about now is people are never going to be happy because either games are going to take too long to come out because they need to put all the detail in. That's going to obviously it just doesn't instantly appear in the game. You actually have to make all this detail a lot more than what people would make. Probably spend more time on than what people would do before. So people are going to complain about games not coming out soon enough, or if they rush them out too soon. If they take the same time frame as they do now, people can go, "Oh, well, it looks the same as what it used to look like." So I don't think. I think this generation they're never going to win.
No, I agree.
There's going to be a lot of people complaining or just putting up with things, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It takes time for developers to put reflections of people in puddles and things like that, doesn't it? That's
Exactly,
the sort of detail they demand nowadays, isn't it? You know.
I mean, from my point of view, it's not something I'm interested in the slightest, to be honest with you. And because they very, very, very rarely put consoles in bargain buckets, I never like to get one anyway. So.
Yeah. Are you going to get one of them for 10p, are you?
Yeah, no. I'd try, but I think I might be showing the door very, very quickly.
I mean, the other thing as well, once some change it from looking like a bloody router, then I might actually jump on it. Flipping it.
The design, I think, on both of them, to be fair, leaves a lot to be desired.
They've definitely gone to Talk to ask for some design details.
Oh dear! Richer sound, yeah, probably the richer. Got to figure the page of richer sound. Yeah, we'll design one that looks like that, you know.
Well, actually, you say that there is a PlayStation 2 console that was only released via richer sound.
Was there really?
Yeah, which is the one that I've got. It's an all-in-one PlayStation 2 and TV, and you could only get it from richer. That was only available from richer sound. So the Americans and the Japanese never got it. Just us Brits.
Ooh.
There you go. And there was me taking the mick out of it as well.
There you go. So the richer sound model. Yeah, there you go. Bit of
that's
of random facts that no one's bothered about.
That says that there can't be many of them about, mate. They really can't.
No, there isn't.
No. Yeah. So that's it. We'll draw a line under that, and the general's impression is meh.
Yeah.
So rather than so we'll move on to this week's topic of the week, which is basically sort of reverse of what we've just been talking about. And again, it's something we talked about before we came on. I think it was Eddie came up with the idea. I think it's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Which is just to talk about, rather than sort of, are we going to be getting the next generation of consoles, is what was the first generation of consoles or computers that we first played back when we were little, or smaller, or I don't know, tinier. Whichever way it was. I mean, we all started with different things. We all started at different times.
Yeah.
So, Sean, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. My first venture into gaming was the ZX Spectrum 48K rubber keyboard. It was a Christmas present of my mum and dad, obviously, at Santa. I mean, but it was fantastic. That the morning, opening it up and seeing this lovely little computer. And it was a lovely little computer, the little rubber keyboard. I mean, you obviously know that it had, for each key, there were like about 6 different commands you could actually use. There was shift, and then a key to do one thing, there was control or something, and then there was shift and alt, Oh, it were quite technical, really. Especially when you were trying to program little programs in. My dad started getting us a magazine every week or fortnight called Input, and it had listings, program listings, and you could just copy off it, type it in, and then run the program at the end, and you got these little basic programs.
If you were lucky, because if you typed something in wrong all the way through, it wouldn't work. You had to go and start all over again.
That's true, yeah.
So what have I typed in wrong? 25 pages in a magazine,
That did happen many times, mate. I must admit. Especially when my dad's turned to key it in. Bless yeah. I just loved it, and I mean the games. There were some really good games. I think the first few games that we got, there were packing games, and there were survival, make a chip.
I've got that somewhere.
Yeah. Those kind of games, really basic. But I don't know. I mean, obviously, it was a thing of its generation, but spent hours on them. There was a platform game called Fearless Frank. It were actually sold by Marks and Spencer's. There were two games, Frozen Penguin and Fearless Frank. Fearless Frank was the one we played most. Just a simple little platformer. There's video of it on YouTube if you're interested in having a look. Really basic, but so addictive. Me and my dad taking it in turns, having a go with this. And then there were the Daley Thompson's Decathlon, the button basher. Oh.
In fact, we were sore wrists earlier. I mean, joysticks with them sort of things. Goodness, that's where it all started.
Yeah.
You're going to school. Yeah, what have we done with your wrist? I've been playing Daley Thompson's Decathlon. Yeah.
And then and then I've mentioned it before. We broke it. I don't know why, but one of us pulled interface out while power were on, and then we're like, well, we must have to put it back in to make it work again. And we just fried it. Fried the computer. It was gone. But to be honest, and I'm sidetracking, but that actually did me a favour because he couldn't get hold of another Spectrum. And the guy who we were buying from says, I can only get you a Commodore 64, son.
Damn.
Whoa. Nice one. That's that. And then obviously that was my next computer. And
took you on from
obviously,
there,
yeah. But ZX Spectrum, and it holds a lot of memories. Really does. The colour clashing.
What did you think to the Dead Flesh keys?
I loved them, mate. I loved them little keys.
I never realised how small it was until I got one about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I thought they're tiny. Absolutely tiny things.
They are. They really are. It just shows you.
Especially back then, because back then things were big. So something that small is like, it's quite common nowadays, but then that was quite an achievement.
Yeah, it was.
That's something. It's no bigger than sort of say the size of a tablet now, is it? Really?
No.
And that when mobile phones came out, they were the size of houses.
It's true, isn't it?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. So that was my first computer, mate.
Yeah, and is it one you go back to nowadays and still keep an interest with, or?
Not really, if I'm honest. I do have one. Obviously, I bought it, didn't I, from Doncaster Video Game Market, just over a year ago. But I've never really had a chance to set it up. In fact, I've only really just got hold of the cassette recorder to play the games. I don't actually have the leads to connect it to the Spectrum, so I've never really been able to get it out and have another good bash at it, which is a shame because it is a lovely little computer.
You not fancy doing the old mobile phone MP3 to Spectrum little mod cheats?
Well, I wouldn't know how to, Eddie, in all honesty. It's probably simple, but but I've never looked into it, mate. So possibly if I could work out how to do it.
relive the Fearless Frank memories.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that'd be ace. It would.
I think a man of your technical capability, you should probably be able to do something like quite straightforwardly. I think it's overly difficult. I think it's overly difficult.
Isn't it?
I think
I just never looked into it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I probably would be able to get it up and running.
I think we've tried it with
You can revive it.
Yeah, you can revive it. Yeah.
It's in your name.
Spectrum revived.
Yeah, I think we did it with the Electron, and you can sort of do it that way, and it worked quite nicely.
Yeah.
So I think if you looked into it, mate, it wouldn't take too much of your time to do that and sort it out.
I mean, I did have a Nintendo Wii which had all these emulators on, and it did have the Spectrum on, but I just couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out how to load the games, which was a shame because it had thousands of games on. But yeah.
Yeah, but you can't emulate that keyboard. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That is
true.
the big thing.
That
You can't play
is.
Spectrum without that.
So,
yeah, you might play all them text adventures and things like that, wouldn't you? The Hobbit and
The Hobbit, God.
Zork, is it?
Yeah, Zork. That's it. Yeah.
God.
You won't really get anywhere near any of them games.
No, that's true. I don't know if Birdsell actually has his Spectrum connected up somehow and uses the same thing. So maybe I could see old David and see if he knows how to do it.
Ask him nicely.
Yeah.
Don't mention the egg.
Don't mention the egg. Yeah.
You'll be fine.
I mean, my sort of first gaming memory console type was probably the Atari 2600, which is going right back to the very, very start. And I remember my parents got one, and their friends also got one at the same time. So there was sort of like this constant library of games being exchanged between the sort of two families. So that was my first introduction to it. I remember probably Space Invaders was probably the first game I played.
Yeah.
Combat, which it's so readily available, that game now. But there's so many other games like Outlaw, which was like a cowboy thing. There was Video Olympics, which was like the most basic sort of sports game, which you could imagine. But then it's really original titles. When me and Eddie mentioned it when we spoke a couple of weeks ago, Frostbite, an absolute classic of a platform game. Keystone Capers as well. I don't know if anybody ever heard of that one.
Pitfall. You must have had Pitfall.
Pitfall.
Harry.
Yeah, we didn't have Pitfall, but our friends had it. In fact, I see them. They had most of the better games, the ones I was more interested in. But then again, that's always the case when somebody you know has got games. You always think that their games are instinctively better than the ones that you've got. And so they used to have things like they had Pitfall, Hero.
Oh, brilliant game.
Yeah, came out on the 8-bits, didn't it? Kangaroo. Which is,
sounds bizarre, but it's quite a popular game, isn't it?
There's one called Springer, which is about a rabbit, which was one of the world's most difficult game to play. Q-Bert, we had Q-Bert.
Yeah.
That was an infuriating, annoying game. You've got to work out the controls. You sort of push down, you sort of jumped off the top, and go, what the hell's going on with that?
What you do is you turn the joystick to an angle, and that's how you play it.
I was 6, I wouldn't have known how to do that at the time. In fact, I was holding it the right way, not eating it or chewing it. It was something else, and then, of course, the paddle controllers as well, which were, sort of pretend they were cameras. And what else did we have? Smurf, which was got the world's most annoying tune. I think Mr. Bads has been after that game. And I think he'd never actually ever played it, but he wanted it for his collection. And I said, well, when you get it, watch out for the really annoying music. And he never. It turned out he never actually played it. He just wanted it for his collection.
That's ingrained in my memory, definitely.
Yeah, it just goes round and round. The games go round and round and round, and so it just gets faster. And my late mum used to hate that game with a passion. Mind you, we used to hate it as well. We had E.T. as well. Yeah, E.T. regarded the world's worst game.
Yeah.
Even at 7 years old, I could tell it was a pile of cack. And I'd barely been playing games at the time, and he just kept falling down them bloody wells. There's Raiders of the Lost Ark, which you actually used 2 joysticks for at one point. We talked about, Smash TV and 2 joysticks. There was something we had to use a second
really?
controller. Yeah. The game my dad played on most of all.
All right.
I never could really understand it, but there's one point you had to use two joysticks plugged in. But I used to love it. And then some of the later games I picked up Kung Fu Master. There was a conversion of Kung Fu Master. Ghostbusters, which I mentioned previously, I think, and that had the world's worst rendition of that theme tune anyway. The game's terrible regardless on any system. I hate that early version of Ghostbusters.
Well, no, not on any system. The NES is the best version of Ghostbusters you can ever play.
Is it?
Yeah, it's called the new Ghostbusters. The cartridge looks exactly the same as the crappy one, except it's like a slightly different colour, and it says new really small. But yeah, that's a really good game. It's like sort of like a Zelda-ishy sort of game, but not really but like with Ghostbusters. So it's like a top-down adventure game. Really good.
It's one of my, this sort of thing. People have gone about this, the 8-bit version of Ghostbusters, and I got it on the 2600. Like, this is terrible. Yeah. And there's a version. I didn't have a version. There's a version of Double Dragon.
Yeah, I've always wanted to play that because how the hell can you have Double Dragon on 2600?
But have you seen it?
Are you basically a block?
Yes, you are literally a block. I don't even know how it could be called a version of Double Dragon. You don't look anything like it. And the other one as well, which Rob may be interested in because he did a play on this a few months ago. Rampage as well.
Ah, yes.
Rampage.
Yeah, there's a version of Rampage in the 2600.
Wow.
But
it's quite impressive that these people have actually thought we could make a game out of this on the 2600.
Yeah. I mean, the complete limitations of what they got. But then again, there's obviously a game which is well known called Adventure, which is like widely regarded as one of the great games, and the limited amount of memory they had to work with to put that game together was something else. And I rue the day when. Oh, hello, what was that?
Oh. Someone's just electrocuted themselves.
Yeah. It's Sean trying to work out his spectrum and that the MP3 things. But I regret the day when that went. To be honest with you, I've got a 2600 since then, which is I don't get to use it very often, mainly because it won't work with my telly. It's that old. It's obviously I'll have to try and plug it into the CRT. I've got 3 cartridges for it as well.
Is it the wooden one?
Yes.
The proper one, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got the Junior. I got that off Dainster done in Video Game Market last year. But yeah.
Well, I was very fortunate because somebody actually bought this for a gift for a birthday or Christmas. I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah.
Didn't come with a box or anything like that, but it's got the the original cables with it and everything like that, which is great.
Yeah.
So I've only got the 3 cartridges for it, which is Combat, Space Invaders, and Crystal Castles as well, which I forgot to mention because I had Crystal Castles originally, and that was I think it's only like a very much. I played the arcade version on the Atari Anthology on the PlayStation 2. The 2600 version obviously is very, very pared down. It's like the Donkey Kong. It's only 2 screens, I think. But the Crystal Castles is it's a fun game to play. And again,
I don't even understand the arcade version.
Yeah,
so I don't know how you play that.
Oh no,
it's a trackball game as well, isn't it? So.
It was in the arcade. It was in the arcade, but obviously when it came out, the 2600, it was a joystick one. I've tried using the PlayStation 2 pad on the Atari Anthology version. I can't get on with it. So, luckily, this Crystal Castles I got was donated to me by John Retro Kit. So, I'm gonna go at one point. So I've got fond memories of that. But that for me was, sort of my first introduction to gaming, and happy days. Really were, and not great consoles. It was a sad day when we got rid of that, really. But Eddie, whatever yours.
Well, mine's very, very similar to yours. So basically, the legend has it, for my second Christmas present, I got given an Atari 2600.
No.
So obviously, at 2 years old, I wasn't playing that, was I? So it's obviously my dad bought it for himself.
Yeah.
So he could play. But eventually, I just always knew gaming in sort of like, I've always grown up with gaming sort of thing. So I played the 2600 to death. Absolutely loved it. You touched on some of the games like Frostbite, where you're building your little igloo and trying to get past the polar bear and stuff like that.
Oh, what a game that was!
But one of my favourites was Mega Mania. Absolutely flipping love that game. Basically, it was sort of like Space Invaders, Galaxian, but like not. It's probably like the sort of what's it called? Like the start of a proper shooter, like a shmup. So basically, you've got like all these lines of things coming at you, but it's like instead of staying in one place, it's actually coming towards you like a traditional shooter, what you'd expect nowadays. So yeah, absolutely rock hard. I absolutely loved it. So I think that's kind of like what gave me my love towards shooters, because that was my first experience of it. Pac-Man. People have not mentioned that one. People say that's the worst version of Pac-Man. How is it? The thing is, for me, I never knew any other version of Pac-Man. That was Pac-Man for me, and I loved it. It was flipping great.
I've just thought of 3 or 4 more now, but you just talking about it. I think I haven't mentioned any of these, and I thought, how could I not mention these games? But yeah. Pac-Man was one of them. Empire Strikes Back was another one as well.
Yeah, I've not actually played that one. Choplifter was another one. Again, another sort of shooter-style game. It wasn't like Choplifter. Hang on, what was it? Was it Chop? What's the one that's by Sega? This one was by Activision. It's like a yellow cartridge. Chop. So anyway, yeah. So you're basically a helicopter shooting things, and brilliant!
Rescuing hostages. That one.
That's Choplifter. 2600. Hang on, let's have a look.
I don't know what those are there.
Chopper Command, that's it.
Oh, right, yeah.
Chopper Command, yeah. So basically, you're like going around shooting up other helicopters and like all these little sort of delivery trucks and stuff, and you got to stop the delivery. So it's a bit different than the Choplifter.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, God, yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, another sort of like that, sort of like a horizontal shooter instead of a vertical one, like Mega Mania was. So again, like you say, there's so many. People say that like there was that many games it saturated the market and it had a crash, but we never saw that over here. We just got the better games, I think.
All I remember is like a load of cheap games ending up in places like Asda and Favour Centre, and you know every time we went shopping, you came home with a handful of cartridges.
Well, they just appeared. So for me, I don't know where they came from. But like, like Pitfall again, my first introduction to platformers. So all this before the NES that people kind of traditionally think of a platformer, an RPG, I've already experienced them all in the 2600. Donkey Kong was another great game. Flipping love that game, jumping over the barrels and stuff. Exactly. Again, that noise. It's not the arcade that I hear. It's the 2600 one. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Did you ever play Enduro, which was a racing game? And that was again one of these guys went on and on and on and on, but you'd sort of keep driving in a race and keep passing cars, and you go through like different sort of say like daytime, nighttime. There was even one with fog. So basically that they sort of it's like you're sort of behind the car, like the pit stop style view. And they sort of like put a haze down right in front of the car, so you couldn't see what was coming, so you couldn't go too fast in case you hit something. Oh, it was tremendously exciting.
It's crazy what they could get out of just such a simple system.
Yeah.
But like one thing that I always kind of regretted is I never had the paddle controls, so I never experienced that. So I never played games like Kaboom.
Yeah, I don't think we had many paddle games, but
I never had that. But yeah, Jungle Hunt, that was another great game.
Yes,
I never experienced that, and this is what kind of another kind of first with the 2600. Obviously, I had that as a kid, and then I upgraded to the NES eventually. But I can remember being about 12, 13, going to my local like car boot and finding a boxed Atari 2600, and I was like, Dad, I want this. And this is when the Super Nintendo was out. And I was like, my dad was like, why do you want that for? It was like, because I just I remember all these games and I wanted that nostalgia hit, even at like 12, 13 or however old I was. Because, there might be crap games compared to what you could get at that time. But I don't know, there's something about that nostalgia that you can't replace with modern games. And that's why why we're all retro collectors now. We know that like these NES games or 2600 games are not as good as what's coming out on the PlayStation 5, but they're what we enjoy, and they've got gameplay there. The gameplay is the fundamental part of the games that we enjoy. It's not so much the graphics. We're not graphics whores. We're gameplay whores. And the 2600,
replayability.
the 2600 had that in abundance.
That's it. I mean, I don't want to sort of say that everything about retro gaming is good because,
It's
sometimes
not.
you go back about you go back about looking at something and think that was really good back then. You play it again and think, God, that's terrible. Why would they ever sort of enthuse over that and rave about it back then? But the majority of the time you go back to something, it's because it was got the good memories from it, and those memories are still retained when you pick it. Oh, this is great! You're instantly playing it again, and you're almost transported back there, aren't you?
Yeah.
If time was stood still and you're still that small child playing that game for the first time, it's. what a system! What a system!
Yeah.
All retro games had the high score system, basically, didn't they? Which is something you don't get as much nowadays.
Yeah.
So they had the replayability about it because you'd always want to do better than your last score,
You say that, but I never really experienced that, the 2600. I don't think that was ingrained in me at that time. I never really understood the high score system. That's something more that I'm kind of getting into now with, like with the tubers high score challenges and stuff, where there's actually people are kind of wanting to do that. So it's quite addictive to like try and beat someone else.
Yeah, but they're all the old style games that had high scores. You just don't get it nowadays, do you?
But don't forget,
No,
you used to have pages in magazines that were devoted to high scores. People used to send their high scores in.
Yeah.
The Zap 64 or your Sinclair or whatever, or a few of that included an Amstrad magazine, whatever they were called. And to get that sort of pride of having your score published in that magazine and other people trying to beat it.
Yeah. I used to play against my mates, and like Rob says, it was the high score. We always used to try and beat each other with the high scores. It's like with arcades. You'd see somebody's 3 initials at top, and you're like, I've got to try and beat that.
Yeah.
And that was that's what you really wanted to do, to beat that top score, especially in arcades. Never got it, I don't think, unless they just turned the machine on.
The funny thing is that you say that, Sean, though, but back in them days, I just played the games to just enjoy the games. Whereas now, like you mentioned Bomb Jack, flipping heck, the kind of addictions I've had with that just recently. Like I just played Bomb Jack to play it back in the day. Now I'm like, I need to get a better score than I had before, and it becomes like quite addictive.
Have you got a 2600 in your collection, Eddie? Now
I do. I still have that one that I got when I reintroduced it to myself. Because the first one was the old school Woody, because that would have been the one of the time. But when I got my retro fix, when I got mine from the car boot, it was the Junior. So even then I was like, oh, this isn't as good as my old one, but it was still like, still played the 2600 games the same way it did. But I still have that, but I don't have a plug because I don't know how I've not killed myself because back then I don't know how it broke, but the earth plug on the UK plugs, so the free prong plug, well, that snapped off. And to get it to plug into the socket, I used to have this He-Man figure toy that I'd use its weapon to push into the plug, and then that would open up the pins so I could plug my 2600 in. So how I'm still here, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but fortunately I am, and I will never try that method again. So at the moment, I can't actually plug my 2600 in.
I think I can safely say to everybody, don't try that at home, just to be on the safe side.
Well, when you're 12, you're fearless. You don't care. It's all right. I survived the last one. Of course, I'll be all right next time. So it's only live electricity.
Just an interesting thing as well. I was looking up Chopper Command while we were talking about it, and its genre, just for the interest out there, is called Shoot 'em Up.
Yes.
It's not called Shmup. It's called Shoot 'em Up.
Shoot 'em
up. Rob, what about yourself, mate? To round off this subject.
A little bit opposite to Eddie, really. Eddie got one when he was 2. I had to wait till I was 14 before I got one. Because, my parents basically, they didn't want me staying indoors, cooped up playing video games. They wanted me to go out and play, which I still love them for. I would never take it back. But I think I mentioned it before. I got into gaming through arcades. Just basically every time we'd go on holiday, wherever we went, I'd find a machine and whatever it was, I'd give it a go. And I was going to say, the first time I ever walked into an arcade, it was just amazing. And the machine Rampage caught my eye, and it was just like this 3 joystick cabinet thing where you could be a monster and smash buildings. I mean, what young kid in his single digit ages would not love that?
Exactly.
And I just used to look forward, because we used to own a caravan back then, and that was the amusements where it was permanently parked. Basically, it was a fixed one, and I just used to look forward going there, running in that arcade, and spending what little money I had on playing Rampage. And at the same time, my sister was not really into it, but she'd play the games as well. And another early memory is her favourite game was APB Cop.
Oh, really?
As well. And I was going to say, I used to play that a little bit, but yeah, for me it was Rampage. And I say, years went by. I mean, I went through infant school, not secondary school, junior school, and mates had Commodore 64s and ZX Spectrums and were talking about it, and I was like, well, I play football in the street, and that was pretty much it. I lived in a cul-de-sac, by the way. I should mention that. I wasn't dodging cars every 5 seconds.
Oh, it's more fun when you do that.
Great place to play Kirby, isn't it? The cul-de-sacs, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, I lived in a cul-de-sac, so it was great, and it was also on a slope as well, so it was great for riding your bike to the top of the hill and then just coasting down. It was great. But no, eventually our parents sort of, they realised it was what I was into and it was what I wanted. And we come to a compromise, and the first system I ever owned was the Sega Game Gear. Because I was basically annoying little so-and-so in long car journeys. So it was basically my home console, because it was always had the AC adapter plugged in, because obviously the Game Gear's battery life is well touted. But and in the car they had the AC adapter that sort of plugged into the cigarette lighter, and the lead was really long, so it reached to the back. And I'd say the first ever console I owned was the Sega Game Gear, and I absolutely adore it to this day for that reason. And so it come bundled with Sonic the Hedgehog, so that was the first ever game that I owned, and first ever sort of platform I really played as well.
One of the best Sonics as well, I must say.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely adored it. And yeah, there was just something magical every time I got a new game and owned. You had that cartridge, because I think when they bought me the Game Gear as well, they also bought me Mickey Mouse's Castle of Illusion as well. So I had 2 games rather than just the one that came with it from the off. But yeah, no, it was just the best thing ever to me. And every birthday and Christmas, I'd ask for a new game. I've still got every game I ever owned as a kid that came still boxed, with manual and everything, because I was one of those kids that wanted to keep boxes for everything, and I'm so glad I was. I really need to do an updated collection video on my Game Gear collection, because the one I did when I first started doing YouTube was not only not up to date, it's crap basically. But so I really should do an up to date one. But
love the game.
Yeah. I know you share the same passion for Part and Part as I do, don't you, Eddie?
Oh yeah, top notch game, top tier game, that one.
Crazy golf on the go. Who doesn't love it?
How did you used to have the battery pack then to keep it running?
No, as I say, I used to play it in the car at home pretty much all the time. I never used to sort of play it out. So yeah, I've still got my original AC adapter, which has had some wear. It's got like some sort of cotton wrapped around where it plugs into your thingy, because it's got a break in the cable. But we sort of wound it into the same position so that it wouldn't keep cutting in and out.
So is that another do not try this at home disclaimer, I think?
Kind of, yeah. This is the don't electrocute yourself episode, I think.
I think it's slightly less dangerous than yours, Eddie. Let's be honest.
I can remember the first time I actually realised I had a problem with it was I was playing Streets of Rage, and I got halfway through it and it just cut out. I was like, what? It's plugged in. How's that even possible? But that's not a bad little conversion as well. I mean, it's only got 5 levels, and you can't be Adam. He's not there. But yeah, it's still great. It's still not a bad little conversion for the handheld. I mean, it's had its fair share of stinkers. I mean, I've told my story about Sonic Spinball before, but Christ, the only game I've ever owned for it and got rid of. That I like to think that says something from my opinions on it.
Speaks volumes, I think, doesn't it?
It sounded awful. It played all. I mean, it sounds awful anyway, but it sounded even more awful. and played it even worse than the Mega Drive counterpart, which I don't get the fascination with that either, but at least it's bearable.
I think one thing I find fascinating about this, we've talked about all the systems that we first played on, and we've still got them, or we've bought them again years later.
Yeah,
to sort of build a collection with, which is interesting.
I've still got my original Game Gear, but thanks to Sean, I've got one that works properly, rather than playing in a not so well lit room and tilting at an angle and having no sound. Thanks to Santa Sean, I've got another Game Gear which fully works.
You're welcome, mate.
Love you. So yeah, can't beat it in my eyes. Favorite handheld,
Yeah, it's
hugely biased.
Mine's the only one that I've got. My 2600 is the only one I've got from my youth as well. So yours is yours just the Game Gear as well then? So your first system.
I've still got my first Game Gear, and again, like I said, as a kid, I kept all the boxes. The boxes in the loft at my parents', but I've still got it boxed with instructions and stuff like that.
Cool. But that's the only system from back in the day that you own still.
Nope, got my Mega Drive still.
Okay.
Still got my Mega Drive as well. Yep. Systems I did sell my PS1. I know that's not really back in the day, but yeah, I did sell that, which I kind of regretted a little bit. You always do, don't you, after the event?
Yeah.
My original Dreamcast died and needed replacing, but apart from that, still got my OG Mega Drive, because you love that expression, don't you, Bear? And still got my original Game Gear as well. So yeah.
Yeah, because I think a lot of us, we all trade to move up, don't we? I think so. It's very easy for us to all not have our old systems. There's not that many people that still do.
Yeah, I mean, but back when the PlayStation was out, I was old enough to basically, earn my own money, and it was basically a case of, well, you want the next one, you sell the previous one. And of course, we've all been through that phase in our life. And my PlayStation was sold I kept it for years to get a Dreamcast. Kind of skipped a generation, I think, somewhere. And the Dreamcast died. And then I had that long pause until I got 360, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
The Dreamcast come out after the PlayStation 1, so you've not skipped.
Oh, no. It's after the Dreamcast I skipped one then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I skipped a generation somewhere, because I love the Dreamcast so much that I just thought, all these arcade ports, I don't need anything else. I don't need that generation. I can still play my Crazy Taxi, my Power Stone, my Daytona, my Virtua Striker 2, and I was just like, just don't need the next generation. I just keep playing these games over and over again. Virtua Tennis as well, Bear, don't worry.
Yeah.
Soul Calibur, the best port of Soul Calibur game ever, in my opinion. Absolutely runs like a dream on that.
It was a powerhouse for back in them days, wasn't it?
So yeah, it's just because you know what? If it never died, I could still be playing it now. Never have bought a 360. Never got around my mates to play the 360 and have that first pop and go, "What's that?" I was hooked.
The only original system I've got from my first time around is the Xbox.
Okay.
Everything else that I didn't have a huge amount of stuff. So with the 2600, we had that. Then there was the Amiga 500, which I think, thinking about it the other night, went to the tip. Oh God! I think that was my fault. I think my dad said, "You still want that?" I said, "Nah, get rid of it." Oh God! And then
the things we do in it.
I know. And then there was my PlayStation 1, which got stolen. And then I can never remember what happened to the replacement PlayStation or the PS1 paracetamol-sized.
Oh, the little round
bastardisation of the original console. Yeah. I don't know what happened to that, because that's what they replaced it with, because they didn't make the original PlayStation 1 anymore. I had to get the pared down version. I can't remember what happened to that. And then there was the GameCube, which we traded in for the Xbox. And that's where my sort of, everything else I've got, my collection was bought after that. So but I still got my original Xbox, which is great. I'm happy with that.
I just remembered, I haven't just got my original Mega Drive, because we were kids that never shared. Mum and Dad bought one for my sister as well, and I think it must be about 5 years ago now. She just said one day, I found my old Mega Drive and games in the loft. Do you want it? Otherwise I'm going to get rid of it. I was like, you will not get rid of that. So I've not just got my original Mega Drive, I've got my sister's original Mega Drive as well.
Yeah. Well, actually, my Super Nintendo went to my sister, and God knows where that's gone now. She doesn't have it anymore. But she did make up to it, because she gave me, what's it called? A really rare PlayStation 2 game that she had in her collection. Well, I say collection, just what she owned. What's that strange Capcom game that's like in a house when everyone's like cubed heads.
Street Fighter 2.
Street Fighter 2, that's it, yeah. But yeah, quite a Gregory Horror Show. She gave me that one.
I've got that one. You saw that when you come round.
Yeah, that's quite a rare game now. It's going for quite a couple of pence nowadays.
Is it? I've got it for less
It's
than that.
quite
At the
obscure,
car booth.
is it?
It's quite
an obscure game.
It's an obscure game. Yeah,
It's sort of like an adult cartoon horror type thing.
yeah.
No raccoons involved.
No, there are. It
No,
it's like,
it's based on a kids' TV program, but yeah,
yeah.
a Japanese one.
Oh, yeah, typically, of course. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very weird. I tried playing it because my sister was like raving about it, and I was like, I don't get this. You're like looking into like people's hotel rooms and spying on them, and it's a bit weird.
I don't quite like the sound of that. Yeah. Yeah, based on the new hit Japanese cartoon show.
Yeah.
Never heard of. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
weird. It's weird.
I love hearing when people tell me that, oh, this is my old system from back in the original days. It's just a nice thing to hear.
What about you, Sean? What have you got of your old stuff in a tin? Or?
I ain't got one single console, mate, from the original. I've had to buy them all back. Such a shame, really, because, you know, it'd been nice to own, you know, an actual console or computer that I did have from when I were a kid. But yeah, I'm afraid over the years I've sold them on, or for whatever reason traded them with somebody else or whatever. But yeah, I've had to buy them all back. Everything I own.
Well, we're all making up for that, aren't we?
Yeah. I'm buying everything I never owned in the first place.
I honestly think I'm living my childhood dream, because when I was a kid, I just wanted 1,000 games to be surrounding me.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
kind of what I'm doing now, because I can.
Yeah,
Well-
that's it. Yeah.
Well, like what you were saying as well earlier, Rob, like I never threw my boxes away. I always used to keep my console boxes. I used to keep all my Super Nintendo boxes, and I used to put them all on my shelf. But it was literally a shelf that these games were on, because we couldn't afford any more than that. Like once we've completed them umpteen times, we'd go and take them to the market and trade them. But I think that's why it's kind of kept the box mentality for me as well, because you get more for a box game than a loose game.
Yeah.
So I was never one of them that threw them away like trash. Heathens, flipping heathens.
Just because it was cardboard.
Well, people say that they used to just get them, and they used to, like how they used to open a bit of food. They'd open the box, throw the box away, because that was just the packaging. The actual thing was the game itself. And
I
it's
think
like,
it
what?
didn't help with handheld stuff that they come in a little sort of plastic shroud, because you was like, why do I need the box? It comes in this little plastic clasp thing.
Yeah.
I might keep the manual, but yeah, like you just said, it's just like, open the packet, throw it away.
And more than likely, you'd have a sort of like a carry case, and they'd have slots for your games in that carry case, wouldn't there? So you're not going to put them boxes in there, are you?
No. And of course, the plastic Mega Drive cases, and the Master System cases actually held the games in. So that was another reason to keep the box, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They held them in there.
Yeah, and no one ever threw those plastic boxes away, because you've never ever seen on the television a whale chewing a Master System box, haven't you? People are thrown away into the sea, and Attenborough's standing there going, "This is terrible," sort of thing. You know, you never saw people do that. So cardboard, yes, but they kept all the plastic stuff.
A whale died because it had a Master System game stuck in its blowhole.
Yeah, and it wasn't even a good game. You know,
It was Echo the Dolphin.
Oh, ooh. That was terrible.
I know.
That was terrible on every system.
That was all
Boring
about
game.
I was
Sorry
about
if
the
you
dolphin.
like it.
What about the dolphin reference to the whale? Oh,
It's the close I could get this this early on. I've only had 4 hours sleep.
Oh dear me. That's why I've fallen asleep mid-sentence, but there we go. Oh dear. But yeah, I mean, that's probably a good point to bring it to a conclusion, because I hope people found that interesting, because it's always fascinating to understand where people have come from. They're starting their collection on this sort of journey, and where we've got to today, and why we keep doing it, and that passion is there, and it's always been there all the way through. Also, to sort of build a collection from that, and rebuild a collection, and harping back to those happy days when you were younger, and we're all here
Yeah.
today because of that, aren't we? Really, and
Yeah.
it's a great hobby to have. There are much worse hobbies to have. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
But this is a great thing to be, and I'm very happy to be part of it.
Yep. Same
Definitely,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, best thing I ever did.
Such
Well,
a journey.
It is, and it will long may continue as well.
Mm.
Till my arthritic wrists give up.
Oh,
So-
not again.
Yeah,
But your wrists are fine to put the games on the shelf and leave them there. That's what that's all we ever do anyway. It's not like we actually play them.
I can put them on there, but the pain is too much to get them down again afterwards. That's the problem. It's like, and then some cases are too hard to open. Mega Drive cases, like I can't do it anymore. I've got no strength.
The Sega
too
Saturn
old.
ones,
Yeah.
the plastic Sega Saturn ones. Oh my god, they're
Oh.
never gonna give 10 more years. They're never getting opened again.
I've got Sega Saturn games in plastic cases. I ain't sure there's discs in there because I can't open the boxes up. It's been that long. I swear
Are you still
there
trying
is.
to open that one in your video?
Yeah.
It's just you just try for a couple of hours every day. Nope, not happening.
Which one was that? Was that Croc, was it?
I can't remember, mate. But yeah, you just gave up after a couple of minutes.
I'm just a couple of minutes. I'm sure it's the only decent Saturn game I've got. Croc, yeah. Yes, it is. Oh, I'll have to try that again a bit later.
You say decent, but he doesn't even start with its head.
It's true.
You put it in and its head's missing. You have to do a special trick to
Oh,
get
you
it
do,
to
don't
work.
you? Yeah. Oh, I haven't even got that far yet. I don't even have the bloody case. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for giving up your time again this week. It's been a lot of fun as usual, and great to hear from you all. Once again, big thanks to the guys. Big thanks to Sean.
Thank you very much, mate.
Mate. Thanks to Eddie.
Thank you. Sayonara.
Sayonara. And thanks to Rob as well.
Yeah, going to bed now. That's for Daniel.
Could have some sleep. This is the Retro Bear saying thanks to everybody for being here. Thanks to everybody tuning in. We'll speak to you again in a couple of weeks' time with episode 24. But until then, do take care. Stay safe out there. And we'll speak again soon. Bye for now.